Good.
Yeah, you may already know all about this, but it's always good to just remember what we should do. So basically, this is for students who show up in your class that you've marked the roll and you realise that there's a person sitting there that hasn't called out, or they've actually made themselves known that you didn't call them out. They're not on your roll. So there are usually two reasons for that. One is that they've enrolled online or through the admin staff minutes before showing up to your class, because it's always good to get more and more enrolments. And we are working on trying to get those messages to you as soon as we can with SMS and email and whatnot. But, you know, things fall through the cracks. So this person could be enrolled, paid their money, but not on your roll. The second example is a student has just shown up in the hopes that they can enrol. So we don't encourage this at all, but we're not going to turn away someone who's taken the plunge to do some adult learning. You don't want to turn anyone away unless there's physically no seat available for them. So how you deal with them is pretty much the same in that you welcome them to your class. Don't scare them off and say, oh, I don't know who you are, what are you doing here? You know, and don't blame the staff. Don't say, oh, someone's forgotten to put you in the class, or
even if they have forgotten.
Exactly. And yeah, that's exactly right. So it doesn't matter what really happened. You want to make them welcome in your class. So once you've done that and you've comforted them, made them very happy to be there, you can then establish whether they are, you know, people who have paid or not. And if they say yes, yes, I've paid, take their name and phone number and their address as an added precaution, and then pass that on to your caretaker or the office staff. So whether that's an email or an SMS or a phone call the next day, that's fine. But we need to know. Okay.
If they have registered online, wouldn't you be able to see it by going into the portal?
You won't see their name. You'll probably see like an extra person, but you won't necessarily see their actual name. But well done for knowing about the portal, which I'll be bringing up later.
Can I have a point of clarification?
Yes, and
I think you should get a photo for that.
sure. Here's one I went for mine.
Thank you.
What about me?
What do you mean, Michael? Edward.
If they bring a carer, then they're allowed to stay in the class.
Yes.
However, if their partner is with them, you can chuck them out of the class.
You can't chuck them out.
No, but if they don't intend to enrol, if they're
Yes.
just there to be, say, transportation
Provided
or company.
you're not, provided there's a place for them, don't send them out into the rain or anything like that. Let them sit in the foyer
Go
or...
and send them out if it's sunny.
But the point of
You
clarification
are
is
human
that
beings.
they're not entitled to stay in the class. That's a
No,
point of
they can't
clarification.
participate in any activities.
But they can't even be in the class.
Well, if it's a carer...
No, a carer can, I'm
Yes.
just saying that. But a partner, if someone's there just because
If
their
it's a husband or
transportation,
wife or something like that, yeah, they do need to sit outside.
yeah.
But, I mean, if it's going to cause an argument...
Persuade them to pay.
Yeah.
Oh,
If it
Maybe
means
with cup
that,
of
you know,
tea.
if a husband's in class and the wife has to sit outside, if it means that they both have to leave because they don't agree with what you're saying, then by all means allow them in,
Just
and then
don't-
we will deal with that the next day. You need to let us know.
Is that very common, Edward? Does that happen very often?
Usually they turn up, say, an hour or so before the class ends because they're going to give them a lift.
Okay.
Usually that happens. But I just wanted to make everyone aware that carers are entitled to be in the class.
Yes, they are. And Mike, you've probably had parents come in.
I do get the odd parent. I don't care about parents. I'd much rather have a parent with a kid than me responsible for a kid, I'm telling you. But one of the things that I'm looking here, it says, tell the caretaker on site. And more than one caretaker on site has said to me, no, I'm not doing that. And I say, look, you've got to tell the office. You're in contact with the office, this is the guy, this is the telephone number. You've got to tell the office because I don't know whether they're, and they and are, and I never know whether they tell you or not, but that's what I do.
Okay.
Now, They are required to tell you, aren't they?
Yes.
Because I hate the idea of people not
Yeah.
paying. I really do. I need the money.
No, that's good. We're not aware of that was even happening, so Fabian will deal with that.
It's more than one caretaker. I've worked in a number of different centres, and every caretaker except Terry, whose name I forget, Terry Leary. He never said that, but everybody else did.
Yep.
So my job is to give you name, telephone number, address if I can get it,
Yep.
and you will follow it up.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. You are not there to.
I don't want to collect money.
No,
I don't want to harass them. I don't want to do anything
Especially,
except say,
especially if you have a caretaker, it needs to be handed on to them.
lovely. I write it on the roll.
Definitely. Mainly for workplace
Yeah, I get that.
reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely doesn't matter who they are. Write them on the roll, but still you need to pass the information on to the caretaker.
Absolutely. Good. Thank you.
Brilliant. Yes, Vivian.
Can I mention that the caretakers are the people who contact the office, as Michael and Daniel said, and they have to report whatever is happening at that night, the day after. So if anything you are requesting to the project manager or to the office and didn't happen for a couple of days, please do insist to the caretaker or take the initiative of sending an email or, of course, giving a phone call. Look, we didn't know, I didn't have idea that the caretakers are not passing this information. Thank you.
Can I ask one more thing? Sorry, I don't mean to take a lot of time. This piece of paper, I love this piece of paper. I haven't seen it before. It's not attached to the roll already?
It
There's
is.
a variation of that attached to the roll.
Is there? Good.
Yeah, it's not that exact wording, but I've taken sort of the book, the point 1 and 2 straight out of the.
So it was attached last term?
Yeah, it's been attached many years.
Then let me ask you one more thing. See this bit here?
Yes,
Someone who not on your roll,
yes.
make that bigger so as I see it, because I mean, you know,
Yep.
and I am who
no
I am.
worries.
Thank you.
Fabian, can you?
This is, as Daniel said, this is a really a copy and paste of what it is you're receiving in every single roll. Every single roll, the first page actually is this one.
It's just
How-
writing.
Yeah, exactly. Please just do the reading. Just do the reading. please.
this one.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's good. So just to yes,
Sorry to interrupt, but because was reading this. Yeah, I normally take call the roll as soon we start class, but in the last term, I have 2 students that they turn up the last 20 minutes of the class. Okay, you know, they always come with a smile, late, interrupt, anyway, you know, no problem, you know. How do you want me to mark in the roll, like late or anything? Because what I found out later, and is more important for the college, you know, to know, is that the students come because they were young, very young girls. They came early, but they were chatting
right.
in the ground, you know. And in the last minute, you know, the last half an hour, they went to the class.
Okay, think of your role as evidence that there was a person, that particular person was there. I mean, these things have been used in court for alibis, safety, fire evacuations, so whatever, as long as something's put in there. I mean, if you want to write, you know, late 8:30, so we've got an idea. Anything's
What
better
I
than
do
nothing.
is I write the time they arrive or when they leave.
Yep. The more information, the better
The
off
better.
you are.
Mm.
So yeah, they're legal documents. I know, like for some of you, you're not doing accredited courses, but they have other really important
And
applications.
you know, especially also I want to I ask you this because I noticed that the other students were getting upset because they were coming late, and they love to laugh and talk during the class and all the time, you know. So at the beginning, yes, you know, I took it, maybe they finished late and they came, of course, you know, I update them, you know, with material and everything. But the rest of the class, felt bad because I have to interrupt the class to put these two students, and because it was at the end it was used for them to come every class, late. So I like it, I wanted to ask you because there were a bit of complaint
Okay,
from the other student. I know.
yeah, I mean, if there's something, like if you felt you couldn't do any more yourself, then you need to let your program manager know, and then we can, either discuss with you ways to deal with it, or we can handle it as well.
What would you do, Linda?
I would probably talk to them
That's what I do.
and just say to them, look, I don't know if you realise, but you're disrupting the whole class.
I did.
And
I did.
some of the other students are getting a bit upset. Is there a reason why you're coming in late? Could you please come on time?
Yeah, I did that, but there were those kind of girls that they laugh and giggle for everything, and look, when I approach them in front of the class, they laugh, and they keep doing it, up to the point that I noticed, yes, that the rest of the class was very involved. We really enjoyed it, and they start to suffer. So what I did, as soon as they arrived, that I didn't expect them to arrive so late. I just handed in all the material, and I said, well, what it was in the board, sorry you missed it because I already cleaned the board several times, and you can catch up, later at the end of the class. You can ask me, but please don't interrupt. All right? And that's what I did, But I know
Right, yeah.
that's it. All I just want to have clear because if I have to record in the role or anything, because Mary, I know Mary told me that they were just talking and talking in the school ground,
Just add the time to it, that'd be great. But anything where you're not too sure about, just contact us.
Yeah,
You don't have to.
No.
And can I say something, Danielle? I don't think we've met. My name's Terry, but
Yeah.
I think what you need to remember that if they want to sit outside the class and laugh and talk, well, they're adults. They can do what they like, really.
Yeah.
The only issue is, are they disrupting other people?
Yeah.
And they were disrupting other people, and so you talked to them about that and you dealt with that issue. But, I mean, if they want to come to class late,
Yeah.
that's their choice, really.
Exactly.
Sorry, Nan.
Okay, so just to quickly go over, if they're a late enrolment, we just need their details and we will chase it up and make sure that they've enrolled and they really have paid, all that sort of stuff. If they are a walk-in and you have the space available in your class, I mean, if you've got, equipment, intensive class where you have, everyone's using all the computers or all the wheels and pottery wheels, things like that, or there's physically not enough seats for not safety. I'm not going to stick a chair in front of the door. Then enrol them. So if you've got an enrolment form from your caretaker, or you can direct them to the website, all that sort of stuff. Or if you have no enrolment form but they haven't paid, still let them in, and once again take their name and address, and we will deal with it the next day.
I can't remember, but is there an enrolment form or extra enrolment forms with the role?
I think there are.
There usually are.
Yeah, usually is.
Yes. But it depends on the venue.
All roles, at the back of each role,
Yes, exactly.
you find the enrollment forms. I always put more than 2 there. So it's always they are attached to your roles. Also the caretakers have roles with everything on site, everywhere.
It's in the back of the book too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yes, if you have a booklet, definitely. Great idea. Roxanne.
Just a quick question. Are the late enrolments usually handwritten? I've had a few classes where, you know how that's all typed?
Yeah.
And I've had a handwritten name just at the bottom with no ID. So I'm assuming it was just something done at last minute?
If you are the first tutor, if you're
Yep.
using...
It's
yeah,
my first
you're-
class.
Then I'd say that someone's come here and handwritten it on for you.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah.
they've gone through the whole process, they've paid it, I don't have to do anything. Because I sort of wonder,
Correct. Yeah, it is unusual. We tend to just
I had it twice, like
reprint
over,
it.
yeah,
But,
and I've had people
yeah.
just handwritten.
If you're ever unsure, just send
Double
us
check.
an email the next day.
All right.
Yes,
Please, if you have any of that situation, mention to the caretaker and put an email to the program manager, because every single role must have the printed name with ID there, the student number there. So if it's anything, sometimes I hear that whatever name is in my class and is not in the role yet, and how long is the course? It's already 6 weeks. Oh, I didn't know about it. 6 weeks. How can I track the person? And sometimes it's when I call, well, you didn't enroll, you didn't pay for the course. I have twice in this year. And this person just didn't go back to the school. I mean, 6 weeks free. Please, if the name is not originally printed as all the other names, contact the caretaker, contact the office, and let us know. Because people just go to the wrong and sit there until you take action.
And just finally, here's a copy of a roll. Probably looks very familiar. You've probably noticed it's got a number attended box here. And Fabian's just asked, or actually it's all the program managers, if you could actually write in the number that is actually attended. It kind of gives you a look at what's happening, because there could be a trend, things like that. So we'd really appreciate you to actually write those in there. And you do need to at least initial each session, because we're going to be using this as your attendance. So your passive separate, but it's going to be your attendance as well. So get into the habit, you need to fill in each of these. I mean, if you just sort of stop halfway, how do we know that you didn't send in your brother-in-law or somebody else to come and do the class for you? And obviously, definitely, you have to sign and date at the very end as well. Yes.
If there is a late enrolment and you fill out a late enrolment form that's in the back of the booklet, so the next week there will be some notification on the roll to say that yes, it's been paid and filled out.
Yep. You'll either get a brand new roll,
Okay.
which you'll, if it's, you've already marked the attendance, then you'll need to update.
Transfer.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not going to rip it out on you though. Or they're going to have handwritten, although Fabian's saying that we're printing them now, so yeah, you'll get a brand new roll. You need to.
So as long as there's a student ID number on there, you know that it's been paid.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll see you later for another session.